You know what? Let's back this up. All right. I'm going to back this up so we don't miss anything. Sorry about that. Live radio, right? All right. We're going to start over now. All right. Thanks for joining us for another episode of GC Community Chat. This is episode number 483. We hope you're all doing well and staying safe. We want to thank all the communities, like I said, who tune in every Thursday night to listen and watch our show. We want you to know your support is greatly appreciated. And remember, if your community has any events or announcements, be sure to get that information to us as soon as possible by emailing us at gccommunitychat@gmail.com. And we'll be more than happy to announce that for you. Like I said, this is the show number 483. Our guest tonight is Mr. John Quinn. He is the author of Someone Like Me. He's also a very successful motivational speaker. And we're going to have a special surprise guest as well. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. Now, like I said, if you have any questions or comments for our guest tonight, and if you're watching us on Facebook, go ahead and type them in the comment section. And we'll do our best to get them up on screen and answered for you. You can also text your questions to us at 734-788-9319. Let's see. Tom is not in there, so I don't know. Let me see what we got on here. Patty Fix is in there. Hi, Patty. How are you? Jerry Thorne from Party Animal Travel. Hello, Jerry. Thanks for joining us. Also, Janet Bradshaw. She says, hi, John. So we'll get John in here shortly. All right, we're going to pass on the weather. Tom's not in there right now, so we will, I guess we're going to, well, let's see. Okay, Cheryl Parton's in there. All right, just a quick reminder, our show does stream live every Thursday evening at 8 p.m., so we hope you'll set aside some time to join us, and be sure to invite your friends to join in as well. Also, if you go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/GCChat, be sure to follow us, and you'll be reminded whenever our show is streaming live. And while you're there, feel free to leave us a review. We would really appreciate it. You can also get more information and contact us as well by visiting our website at gccommunitychat.com. And speaking of reminders, please mark your calendars for next week, June 11th, when we're going to welcome back Garden City Mayor Randy Walker. He'll have several items to discuss as we head towards reopening the city. So we hope you'll tune in and join us for that. All right, let's introduce our guest for tonight. I can't believe he was on our show way back in November of 2015. That is ridiculous. He's going to have to stay in touch more often. He is an author, motivational speaker, retired senior chief petty officer in the United States Navy, originally from Garden City, Michigan, now residing in Oro Valley, Arizona. Please welcome Mr. John Quinn. John, how you doing?
Hey, Kerry. Thanks for having me back on the show. It's good to see you again.
Been a while, my friend.
Can you believe it's been almost 5 years?
No, I can't.
That's incredible to me.
Yeah, that's something else, I'll tell you. So how you doing? First, we want to make sure, you're feeling well and everything's good.
Doing really well. Just taking it one day at a time here in Tucson, and I think it was 104 degrees today. So if Doppler top, I'm in on that, but just enjoying life and doing really well.
Wow, that's unbelievable. 104. So the weather's been like that pretty much all spring, or what?
It's just that time of year. It's summertime in Arizona, and I love it. I have some health issues, so the dry heat and all that stuff just makes my body feel good. That's why I'm out here. But
yeah, I was gonna say the weather probably helps you a lot out there. We're gonna get into that in a few minutes here. Yeah. So now, before I let you introduce our special guest, and for those that don't know the story, you have cerebral palsy, and you were able to keep your disability secret for 20 years while serving in the U.S. Navy, hence the book Someone Like Me, which tells your remarkable story. Now, you were diagnosed when, John?
At a very young age. I just wasn't hitting all the milestones that an infant would hit. My parents became concerned, took me to Children's Hospital in downtown Detroit, and diagnosis was made. I think I was probably 2.5 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, couldn't really walk on my own until I was about 4.5, partially paralyzed on my left side. If you were to measure my feet, my left foot's about 2.5 sizes smaller than my right.
Wow. So CP, exactly what is it? It affects everybody different, right?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question, because there's so many misconceptions about what cerebral palsy is.
Mhm.
Cerebral palsy, people think that it's a disease, that you can catch it, right? That it's progressive. That it
Right.
gets worse as you get older. None of that is true. Basically, what cerebral palsy is, it's like having a stroke at a young age, and then
Wow.
having to deal with the effects of that stroke for the remainder of your life.
Mhm.
Every case of cerebral palsy is unique to that individual. I have a relatively mild case of CP, as it's known.
Mhm.
Every time I want to move, I still have to tell myself to do so. If I want to take a step, I have to tell myself to pick up my foot and set it down, pick up my foot and set it down, stand up straight. And there's a constant running dialogue in my mind when it comes to the movement of my body.
Wow. So, it takes it's a battle every day then with you, correct? I mean, I imagine you have to exercise all the time to keep the muscle tone in that.
I found that works really well. Fitness is a big part of my life. And I know, but I'm just like a lot of other people. The fitter I am, the better I feel. So I think the fitness aspect of my life does help my cerebral palsy. But honestly, there's not a lot of research done by people in the medical community concerning adults with cerebral palsy, and it's really something that I hope will change in the future, because a lot of people think that when it comes to cerebral palsy that it just deals with infants. Well, as I tell audiences around the world, kids with cerebral palsy grow up to be adults with cerebral palsy. It's amazing. So, I hope for further research. But yeah, I keep myself fit, and again, the fitter I am, the better I feel.
Well, I want to hold your book up here. I'm going to hold that up right here to the thing. This is it right here. John up front, Someone Like Me. This is still available all over right now, Amazon, online, everywhere.
It is. It's getting a little scarcer. The book version of it is getting a little harder to find on Amazon. You can still find copies. They might be gently used, as they say. I recommend people listen to the audiobook. It's an amazing
Okay.
audiobook. You can download it. I think $6 is what it will cost, $5.99. But
Now the audiobook, are you reading it or someone else reading it?
No, I deferred to the experts. I got one of the best guys, Jim Ross Muskelman, narrated Someone Like Me. Did an amazing job, and
Wow.
I couldn't be more proud to have him voice it. And I'll tell you, it's a strange feeling as an author to sit there and listen to your book being narrated by somebody else.
I bet.
Quite a thrill. But he did an amazing job. So that's what I would recommend. And we're all kind of stuck at home looking for something to do. Download the book and let me know what you think.
Yeah, you can listen in the car or exercising whenever you want to hear it, right?
Exactly.
That is the best. There is a quote in your book, though, and I wanted to just read that real quick. It's some succeed because they are destined to, but most succeed because they are determined to. That's by Henry Van Dyke. You pretty much live by that, don't you?
You know what?
Determined.
It's funny. The harder I work, the more successful I get. And I talk in the book. I read about a lot of the challenges that I've had to overcome.
Yep.
Now I speak on that, the power of the mind and how to develop your mind to have success. I think we're all destined for greatness. We all have greatness inside us. And to be able to use your mind, which I think is the strongest muscle in your body, to overcome things. Because we're all trying to overcome something in our lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Develop that mind and get to it. Let's go.
Yep. Nora Fix says hi, and Patty Fix, they say hi.
Fantastic.
People in there from Garden City that are saying hi to you. Jerry Thorne from Party Animal Travel says hello.
Fantastic. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah. So you dedicated the book. I want to read this here before we introduce them, to your friend for always putting the needs of others before your own. I'm placing you first. Quite a, it's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, this guy here, I'll tell you, I got to say that I get a lot of questions about my book. People will stay up all night and they'll read it, or they'll shoot me an email. If they see me, I've been stopped in the grocery store. And the one question that everybody asks me, they're like, "Are you still friends with Phil?" and I'm proud to say that, yes, I am.
Well, let's introduce him.
Yeah, I'd love to introduce my best friend. He's the superintendent of Lakeshore Public Schools up there in Stevensville, Michigan. My best friend, Mr. Phil Freeman.
Okay, there he is. Hey, Phil, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. You guys are gonna you're gonna not go crazy, right?
I told John early on, let's just take over the show. Let's figure out how to do this.
So where are you at now, Phil?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Where are you now? You're a Garden City guy too.
I am. I grew up in Garden City. My mom still lives in the house where she was carried across the threshold on Alvin Street there, works in the museum every week. She's a volunteer there, probably listening right now.
Oh,
but, yeah, Garden City through and through. Started my teaching career in Garden City. Moved to Plymouth Canton as an administrator, and about 7 years ago now got an opportunity to head to the other side of the state on the shores of Lake Michigan and become a superintendent of a district about the same size as Garden City schools. And it's been a good move for me.
Awesome. So how did you guys meet, and how did this friendship come about to be such a bond? Who wants to take that?
Well, let me start out by the original time that I saw John for the first time, because there's two different stories. There's a story of when I saw John for the first time and the story of when we met. And for anybody that's been in Garden City for 50 plus years, they might remember Fred the ice cream man.
Yeah.
And the big red truck and with the white box on it and Fred Flintstone painted on the side. It was the best ice cream man in the city. Yep. And he had this gangly little kid that used to ride around with him every once in a while. And Fred the ice cream man was actually John's dad, and John was the kid riding on the truck. And so that's the first time I saw him. And I think I'll hand it over to John to tell you about how we met and how that friendship began.
Okay, John.
Well, I think we met on the Cambridge stage, didn't we, Phil?
Yep.
Up there on wrestlers, you got basketball players and then you got wrestlers, right? During the fall season, football season's over with. So the wrestlers were delegated back in the day up on the stage of Cambridge Junior High School. And we would roll out the wrestling mats back there and turn up the heat, and we would have practice. I think I weighed 78 pounds in the 7th grade.
Wow.
But, I wanted to join the wrestling team. My two brothers were on the team, if I remember. And we were always wrestling in the Quinn house. I've got 7 brothers and sisters. But so I'm on the wrestling team, and, I've got cerebral palsy, and that's really not what you want as a wrestler. It's not conducive to being a good wrestler, but I wanted to be a wrestler. I didn't tell anybody about my cerebral palsy, but the coach called me into his office after 2 weeks, see that I was struggling a little bit. Yeah. And he said, you're not cut out to be a wrestler. You're cut from the team. Clean out your locker.
Oh, wow.
So I walked out there. Now, Phil was on the team, and Phil and I would wrestle off. We would be paired up. Phil was, even though he's a lot shorter than me, he weighed the same as me.
Okay.
So we would wrestle, and so I walk out to the locker room, and Phil's sitting there. Now, Phil, I got to say, he was the best wrestler on the team.
Wow.
A really good wrestler. And just an amazing wrestler to me. And so Phil's sitting there, and he looked at me and said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "I've been cut from the team." What? said, yeah. Now, Phil was an 8th grader, right?
Mhm.
Now, if you can imagine an 8th grader doing this, Phil got up, he walked into the coach's office. And for many years, until I started writing my book, I didn't know what Phil said to the coach.
Mm-hmm.
He comes out and he said, you're staying on this team.
Wow.
I got to stay on the team. And in fact, I wrestled all the way in junior high and high school.
Holy cow.
Yeah, being a wrestler was awesome. And this is really the start of our friendship right there at that moment.
So what was it that you did say, Phil, to the coach?
Well, I told the coach, I said, there isn't anybody on the team that works harder than John, and that he makes us all better. And if he leaves the team, I'm going to quit the team, because that's not what we're all about in a sport like wrestling.
Wow.
And the coach looked at me and said, well, he's your project. And so I think he turned out pretty good. He's been a lifelong project, but I think he's turned out pretty good.
Lifelong.
Wow. You know, the thing about my wrestling, though, is I never won a match.
Okay, but hey, you went out there and tried, right?
You know, I got to say that looking back, I don't have many regrets in my life.
Uh-huh.
One of my regrets is I didn't work hard enough to achieve success on the wrestling mat. That's probably one of my biggest regrets, is I didn't work hard enough. Man, wish I could go back and just grind it out a little harder. And when I talk to wrestlers about it, and I've had the chance to do that.
Yeah.
I say, don't have any regrets when you're my age about your effort, because you can always work hard to achieve success. But
well, I don't think you have to be too hard on yourself, because you're quite successful. I mean, look what you did, 20 years in the Navy. Unbelievable. That's your story. And we're going to talk about that too. But you're right. I mean, for an 8th grader to go in and talk to an adult coach like that, I mean, that was uncalled. I mean, you just didn't hear that.
Well, okay, I got to be honest. I was a little bit selfish in going in there, because, as I said, John was one of the hardest workers on the team. I was as dedicated as you possibly could be to the sport. And I was selfish in the fact that he made me better, because he pushed me. And so don't look at me as being totally a hero that went in there with this mindset that I'm going to change this kid's life by sticking up for him. I was a little bit selfish too.
Well, that was a great thing you did. It really was.
Thanks.
And like my wife says, a great friendship for life, really, on the screen there.
Thanks, sure.
Yeah. So, so then you finished out the season, right? Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And you went on to what?
Well, I graduated high school and went to Schoolcraft Community College for a couple of semesters.
Okay.
I started taking classes in computer programming.
Mm-hmm.
If you can remember back in the day, computers were just coming out of the scene. And I was taking classes in COBOL and Fortran and RPG and assembler, and
Mm-hmm.
walking around with big stacks of key punch cards.
Oh, yeah.
Back a few years ago. But, it's just not what I wanted to do. I remember my oldest brother coming home from Navy boot camp in 73 with short hair and dog tags. It had a big impression on me. It really did.
Mm-hmm.
So one day, and I don't recommend this, but one day I scooped all that books and paperwork and those key punch cards, scooped them up, and I threw them into the fireplace. Fred the ice cream man was sitting in his lazy boy chair, and he looked up to me as the fire roared, and he said, "Are you having a bad day?" I said, "No, I'm having a good day." He says, "Yeah." He says, "I'm going to give you 2 weeks. You better figure something out."
Oh,
So
yeah, that's how it was back then.
the next day, I walked across a Navy recruiter and joined the Navy.
Yeah, I know what that's all about. I'm an old swabby myself, so I can relate. I still got the dog tags.
Well, thank you for your service.
Well, thank you for yours as well. So you let's talk about when you went down there and the duck walk in your book.
Well, you go to join the Navy, and I didn't tell anybody about my condition. I didn't think they would let me in the front door.
Right.
I had cerebral palsy, but more importantly, I didn't want to be known as a sailor with cerebral palsy. I just wanted to serve my country.
Yep.
So I go take this physical, and it's a pretty grueling process. If you can remember, Kerry, we've been there all day. There's 50 guys going from room to room.
Yep.
By this time, it's 4:30 in the afternoon, and everybody's tired. And
in your boxers, I might add.
Yeah, pretty much. And strip down, and these three doctors come in, and they said, one last exercise before you all become property of Uncle Sam. Get down in a catcher squat. Put your arms out.
Oh.
And we're going to kind of waddle around the room a little bit and check your kind of spinal alignment. And all that. So by this time, I'm 6'1", about 128 pounds, the strapping 128, and I couldn't do it. My body shook. I fell over, and everybody started laughing at me, except those doctors who came over and said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Nothing." I tried it again. I fell over again, and they pulled me out of line, and they said, "Son, we don't know what's wrong with you, but we don't want somebody like you in the Navy. Go home."
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So that's what I did. So I came through the front door of my house. Again, my dad was sitting there. And he said, "How'd it go?" I said, "Dad, it was hard. Even for somebody with healthy legs, it was hard."
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. My dad said, "Johnny, life is hard. Question is, what are you going to do about it?" So the next day, down in my basement, I started doing that duck walk exercise. I did it every day for about a year. Then I went back. I was the best duck walker in that entire building, and I passed that physical with flying colors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But and I tell that story even today. The duck walk is still used. It's something that kids struggle with.
It is.
It's
like you said, it's hard for somebody that's healthy and got good legs.
It really is, and it's quite a time. I appreciate the opportunity to get stronger for that year. In that basement. My brother Jim lives in that house now.
Oh, okay.
My brother who lives over on Gilman, and you got it. What I found is I had to raise my level of fitness up to meet that standard. The military has a certain standard, like a lot of businesses do.
Right.
And, say, hey, this is the standard we want in our recruits, and I had to raise my level of fitness up to meet that standard. And once I was able to do that, then you can go. But that was really just the first step in a long journey. But what a step it was.
So you went 20 years with this secret and served in the Navy.
That's correct. Nobody knew. No one.
Gosh.
Until I wrote about it and published a book. And
what happened then? I mean, once the word got out.
I got to tell you, I was a little nervous about the response.
Right.
I'm going to get from, especially from me, the shipmates that I served with, the people that I went to sea with, and defended our nation with. What response I would get from them.
Yeah.
100% to a man and to a woman. They said, "Johnny, you were one of the finest sailors we've ever met."
Wow.
Reading this book tells us more about you as an individual, as a person. Because I was pretty closed off because I had to keep my condition a secret. I'll tell you a real quick story about that if I've got the time.
Yeah.
I gave a speech in San Diego, and I'm flying to Atlanta to give another speech. And I'm in the terminal. I'm in the airport, and I had the great fortune of working with SEAL Team 3. I'm a founding member of SEAL Team 3. I did their paperwork for them.
Wow.
For a number of years.
Yeah.
And, while I'm sitting there waiting for this flight to Atlanta, my Navy SEAL commander walks by. And I said, "Hey, Captain McTighe, how are you, sir?" He looked at me, he said, "John, how are you? It had been 15 years since we've seen each other." He goes, Are you flying to Atlanta?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Great." And I asked him, I said, "You got anything to read on the plane?" He goes, "No." I said, I pulled out a copy of my book. I always carry a copy with me. I said, "Here, read this." Again, this guy was probably one of the toughest guys you'd ever want to meet. One of the nicest guys.
Sure.
Wound up being CEO of SEAL Team 6 during his career, and just a legend within the special warfare community.
Yeah, they're pretty badass, that's for sure.
So he's sitting in the airplane, we're flying, and he's about 10 rows ahead of me, and he's just flying through this book, just zip, 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 zip.
Yeah,
we get off the plane in Atlanta, and he's crying.
Oh, wow.
Tears in his eyes. He comes up to me, and he says, I had no idea. He says, I had no idea. And just words of praise. But then he says to me as he's leaving, he says, can I get 10 more copies of that book? Because I'm going to spread it out to some of our SEAL Team 3 brethren. And, I've had that happen numerous times throughout the last 10 years now. And to me, that authors often worry about reviews. Those are the reviews that I get. And
yeah, those are the ones that really count.
Yeah, it means a lot.
Well, it's a fantastic book, a fantastic story, an easy read book too. When did you know that you were going to write this book?
Well, that's a great question. I had no intention of ever writing a book, but I had moved back home to Michigan. I left San Diego and I came back home to Michigan, and I was actually living in Canton, right down the street from Phil. Okay. And Phil at the time was a principal of a middle school. And I'll let Phil tell this part of the story because he's the one who kind of set the wheels in motion, if you will.
Well, I had a student that was coming into middle school that had cerebral palsy. His name was Trevor. And his parents were very concerned about how he was going to make it, how he was going to traverse the halls of this school and just physically be able to do what is going to be, that can be exhausting for any new middle school student, but particularly for him. And we started talking, and I said, my best friend has cerebral palsy. And they just looked at me kind of stunned. And, John said earlier, people talk about children with cerebral palsy, but they very rarely talk about adults with cerebral palsy. And they were very interested in meeting John because they wanted to see what their son's future could be. Mm-hmm. And so I arranged the opportunity for John to meet the family, to meet Trevor, and to have that conversation.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I walked away from that thinking, imagine what I could do if I could just get my story down on paper.
Yeah.
And I started writing the very next week. My sister, Susan, hello, Susan.
Mm-hmm. She's in there.
She's one of the toughest people I've ever met too, by the way. I got to tell you. But Susan, I got a hold of my sister. My sister, she loves to read and is really good with the English language. So I started writing the first chapter that you read in Someone Like Me. I wrote it down. And I emailed Susan. I said, here, what do you think about this? Mm-hmm. So it was, I don't know if you're smart enough or dumb enough to say, that's pretty good. Continue your writing and send it to me, and I'll edit it for you. Oh. And maybe we can make something happen here.
Wow.
It took a couple of years
of
that. But from that, we've come up with a book that has really hit the mark on a lot of areas for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So has there been talk of a second book or a movie? I know there was some talk about a movie possibly.
We are working on a screenplay.
Wow.
I will say that is being worked as we speak.
Now, who'd you like to see play you, and who'd you like to see play Phil? Any ideas?
Matt Damon would be just fine.
For me.
Phil,
for me.
I don't know, Phil. I'm going to leave that one up to you.
Oh, he's often told me it's going to be Danny DeVito. So really appreciate that.
Danny DeVito, okay.
Okay. I like it. But I'd like to write a book with Phil one day. I'd like to do some speaking with him one day, and
sure.
Once our lives settle down a little bit, I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, you guys could go on the road like Lewis and Martin.
I think that'd be a wonderful idea.
That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Oh man, I often tell people the best stories didn't make it in the book.
Oh, I bet. You want to share one with us tonight?
Oh my! Well, here's one that.
All right.
Here's one of my, just it tells you a lot about John and I. Just as we were in high school, my senior year, his junior year, is when the Blues Brothers cracked the market with their presence on Saturday Night Live, and then their first album, and it was a big deal. I mean, we really liked it. Both John and I got into that a lot, and we talked about it a lot during wrestling practices and stuff. At that point, I was coaching already. And, I just thought, hey, nice guy that I am, I'm going to go out and buy John a 45 record. And, this shows you how old we are. And so I did, and I brought it in. I handed it over to him, and he goes, hey, by the way, I got you something. He walks over to the locker and pulls out the album. So I felt pretty cheesy after that, buying him a 45. I still have that album. I still keep my turntable out, and I still play it all the time. But that's kind of the things that we laugh about. There you go. There's the 45, and I've got the album too. So.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, Susan Quinn says, "Oh gosh, John and Phil on the road."
Yeah, we could have a lot of fun. We could have a lot of fun.
Now, Mike Quinn says Schwarzenegger should play John.
That'll work.
That'll work
Just fine. I got to tell you a story about Phil and his dad. His dad was a great man. Phil comes from a family of educators, and his dad. Where did your dad teach? Was it Taylor Truman?
Taylor Kennedy.
Taylor Kennedy.
Yeah. Okay.
But by becoming friends with Phil, I got to meet his parents and his dad, Bert, was a great guy. And I'd always stop over at Phil's house and say hello to Mr. Freeman. Come to find out that Mr. Freeman spent some time in the military. And he spent some time in San Diego and Coronado specifically, where I spent a lot of my career at SEAL Team 3 and at Certified and a few other places. And I remember having lunch with him and Mrs. Freeman right across the street from the Hotel Del, and he used to tell me stories of just about the Hotel Del Coronado, which is a big resort hotel there on the island. And back in the day, you had to be an officer just to go inside and all these things. So just incredible. But I'm in Norfolk, Virginia. I'm on board the Dwight D. Eisenhower, a big Nimitz class aircraft carrier, like the aircraft carrier behind me here.
Yep.
And this is the night before we're getting ready to go out to sea for 6 months. And if you've ever been on an aircraft carrier, there's 5,500 people on board, air wing. There's a lot going on. And that's the night before deployment. There's pallets of stuff being brought on board.
It's a city. It's a city.
It's a city. If you can imagine an entire city leaving for 6 months to go out to sea. Just incredible. So I'm in the captain's office, and the phone rings, and the petty officer of the watch comes on the phone. He says, "You got a visitor down in the quarterdeck. Quarterdeck's where visitors come on board." I said, "Well, I never get visitors." So I walk down there, and who do I see but Mr. Freeman?
Wow.
Phil's standing there. And the first question I asked him, I said, "Mr. Freeman," I said, "how'd you get on board?" So he shows me this
Civil Air Patrol. He was a captain in the Civil Air Patrol.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's like a gold card, eh?
Yeah. Just the fact that he was able to get through the gauntlet of security, and he's standing on this aircraft carrier at 7:00 at night.
Oh my gosh.
So it was pretty amazing. And I gave him a little tour of the ship, and I never forgot that. It was quite a night and a good memory for me.
And my poor mother had to probably wait on the pier while all this was happening, knowing her.
Probably. And if I had known she was in the car, I would have swooped up and picked her up. Hello, Rose, if you're watching. But
wow.
Just a great family. All the Freemans they've always treated me well, and it's just been incredible.
And the same with his family. They're like brothers and sisters. We're tight, very tight.
So not only you two have that bond, but your families do as well, and that's fantastic. Really is. So yeah, I was on a carrier, but it was an LPH, John. It was a helicopter carrier. So there was on like 800 people on that. But you're right; those carriers are like floating cities.
Yeah, it's pretty good size. What was your rate in the Navy? What'd you do?
Bosun mate.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it was it was fun. Now let's talk about your speaking, motivational speaker. You've been all over the country, eh?
Been all over the country, all over the world. It's just been amazing. Not only just sharing my story, but also talking about, developing greatness and talking to kids about, hey, I'm standing here, but I used to be just like you. I was 78 pounds in the 7th grade. I wore eye patches because my eyes struggled with the cerebral palsy. I wore clunky Frankenstein boot type shoes. I wore long pants all summer long. And here I am now. And you can do this too if you're willing to work hard and believe in yourself. I think that's a powerful message for kids today who often deal with so much in today's world.
Yeah, like you say, if you're determined, you'll do it. You have to be determined to do it, though.
You got to put in the work, and I talk about mentorship and I talk about Phil and talking about, hey, look around. If you're in grade school, you might have your best friend sitting right next to you today.
Yeah.
And I think that's a
very true
message too. But
yeah. Hey, my wife wanted me to ask you, do you still like creamed eggs from the Navy? Do you remember creamed eggs?
The answer is no.
I have that all the time. I love it.
Is that right? There's, when I would come home, my mom knew that there were certain foods that I would not eat if she was making dinner. Chicken was one of them.
Really?
Enough chicken. I ate enough rice with brown gravy.
We had roast beef, everything.
Roast beef.
Oh God.
So no. Sailors, no.
Okay.
If you've been out there, you know what we're talking about. And,
yeah. Oh yeah.
But chipped beef, no, not so much. Potted eggs, not so much.
There's Rose Freeman. She's on the screen now. She says, "Yep." Susan, let's see. She says he speaks a lot on diversity and inclusion too. Is that right?
I love speaking about inclusion and the fact that a lot of people often think that when I speak about inclusion in our society, for a lowering of a standard to make things easier, to bring more people in under the umbrella.
Right.
Be further from the truth. What I'm asking for is the opportunity for me to hit the same standard as you, right? And that's all that I ever wanted. And I give a couple of examples. I love sports, big baseball guy. University of Michigan, Jim Abbott is a prime example of that. I'm going to talk about Mr. Abbott's career in baseball.
Yeah, go blue.
Yeah, he pitched for the University of Michigan. He pitched for Team USA.
Yes.
Drafted by the California Angels, pitched a no-hitter for the New York Yankees.
Phenomenal story.
And oh, by the way, he doesn't have a right hand.
Yeah.
And
amazing.
What I love about that is a couple of things. You didn't hear Mr. Abbott say, "Hey, here's what I need. Every time I pitch, we're gonna move that pitcher's mound in 5 feet." Okay. Because look at me, And you didn't hear Major League Baseball say, "Hey, look at you. Come on, don't even try. Don't even try. Here's the ball. Here's the pitcher's mound. There's the catcher. Go throw strikes." And they're not going to give a contract, and they're not going to give a roster spot to somebody who can't do that.
Right.
And when I speak on my story, there's often so many people who get dismissed, especially people with disabilities, who, they can do everything. You've got two people applying for a job. One's got a disability, maybe in a wheelchair or a power chair. And one person who's able-bodied, but they got the same exact resume. who's going to get the job?
Mhm.
It's the able-bodied person. Why? Simply because it's easier to do.
Yeah.
But you're missing out on an opportunity to maybe diversify your workforce and expand your scope of how you see the world through your employees, and maybe also an opportunity to look around and look at your building and say, hey, we need to make some improvements here to bring more people in with disabilities, because we need to look at our parking lot, or do we need to make the doors wider or put in a ramp or something like that. So there's a lot of benefits. But
Yeah, that's a great thought, because I hear a lot where people with disabilities make fantastic employees, very reliable.
yeah,
Um,
somebody who enjoys working, is dedicated to the opportunity because you gave them a chance.
Yep.
And, I mean, that's what it's all about.
right. So when you coming to Michigan again?
I'm sorry?
When you coming back to Michigan, Garden City?
I would love to. I would love to, as soon as maybe some things lift, as far as
Yeah.
the situation and all that.
Oh yeah.
My niece was scheduled to be married this summer.
Oh.
Postpone that for another year, unfortunately. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah.
I do miss the state very much, and I get a chance to hang out with this guy. It's always a pleasure to do that.
Yeah.
I always love taking a shot of myself with a fresh pizza bread from Villa Bakery, and I send it to him. I will not say what his response is to me typically when I do that, but it's nice to rub that kind of stuff in his face when I get an opportunity to get back to Garden City, which is quite a bit. My mom's still there. I have family. They're still over in that area. Both my boys are in that area as well. So I get over there quite a bit.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, he just sent a picture of that pizza bread last week, by the way. I'm just saying.
First day they reopened.
Yeah, they just reopened. Right. Exactly. Yeah, a lot of businesses are starting to reopen around here. So we're looking forward to, like you said, get back to some sense of normalcy, I also wanted to talk about the challenge coin, and I have one right here. It's very cool. And you still selling those, John?
You bet. You bet. You can go on my website. It's something, the challenge coin is something that is a prized possession of a sailor or somebody in the military to receive one.
Yep.
To be handed one by the commanding officer for a specific task or a job well done is really treasured. I served for 20 years, and I think I got 6 or 7. So that kind of tells you how tough they are to get. And I wanted to develop one for the cerebral palsy community, and I was able to do that.
It's very nice.
To be able to get them out there, and it's just been amazing. I've sold hundreds of them since I started selling them. It's just something that kids can hold on to, put in their pocket, and know that they're not alone, that somebody's always thinking about them.
And it shows their support too for them, Well, I have my challenge coins displayed in my studio here. I have one from the Marines from Senator Kinesic, and I have one from Chief Kathy Harmon from the fire department, as well as yours. So I'm very proud of them.
As well you should be. It's amazing. It's great.
Yeah. So speaking engagements, where are you going to be speaking next? Are you lined up anywhere or no? Or you got to wait for a while?
Yeah, I'm going to be right here Monday, speaking to about 150,000 kids.
Wow.
Via Zoom.
Oh, awesome.
Talking about the things that we're talking about now, the Ohio Valley Educational Cooperative.
Okay.
Is bringing me in. And Zoom has really worked out pretty well for that.
Yep.
Teachers and educators can even, if they wanted to, I'll speak for half an hour. They can record it, and then they've got it for their classroom, which works out really well. Cuts down on my travel, which I love.
Yeah, really. Yeah, this is great. I don't mind this remote myself.
But and then last week I was speaking to the Northern Kentucky Educational Cooperative. I think I spoke to the possibility of the story going out to 70,000 kids.
Wow.
Yeah, just doing things like that. I'm going to be sharing my story on Monday, and then the following Monday, I'm going to talk about working, talking about how to become a valued member of the workforce and what to expect once you got the job. How do you
Yeah.
keep and become a good employee? I think it's a good message for kids, especially those just entering the workforce. So I'm excited about that.
Now, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, John, to speak or whatever, what's the best way for them? Through your website?
You bet. It's just John W Quinn, QUINN.com.
Okay, and then you're also on Facebook, so they can friend you on Facebook and follow you on there.
Oh yeah, you can shoot me a message on Facebook or whatever. If you got questions, I'd be more than glad to answer any questions that come my way.
Awesome. And Phil, you're on Facebook.
I am. I don't get on as much as many people do, but I do. I am on there, and I did that originally when planning for reunions, the class of '79. So we really got a lot of members of the class of '79 that are on there. Pretty tight group of people that meet now annually. So Facebook has been a great way of staying connected.
Up at Garden City Park, I believe, right?
Yes, we do. Yep.
Yeah, awesome. Well, let's hope you guys can meet very often, once we get back to normal here.
You bet.
Yeah, we're hoping so.
Yeah. All right. Well, gentlemen, I really appreciate you coming on. Like I said, your stories are very inspirational. I urge you to get the book, or like you said, audio. That's the best way, I think. And they can get that through where?
Yeah, they just go on Amazon and search for my book on Amazon, and you'll find it. Someone Like Me, an unlikely story of challenge and triumph with cerebral palsy. But if they just search in the books for Someone Like Me, you'll see it there.
Well, it's very inspirational during these trying times that we're experiencing right now. And you guys, please come back anytime. And let's not wait 5 years, eh?
I don't know who sped up the clock. It's just incredible. It just seems like I was.
You were here in studio even
last year.
Yeah,
it's 5 years. It's been pretty crazy.
5 years, November. Yeah, it'd be 5 years. Crazy. Anything else you wanted to say or mention?
No, I just anytime I get a chance to share the stage with my best friend, it's a real honor. Thank you, Phil, for your time, and Carrie, thanks for having me back. You're doing a great job serving the community with what you're doing here, and I do poke in every once in a while and listen.
Yeah.
And,
well, that's a good thing. It's recorded. You can always go back and watch it. So
yeah, which I do, and again, well done. You're doing great service to the people.
Yeah, and Carrie, I have to echo that. I appreciate being able to stay connected to Garden City through the work you're doing.
Thank you.
And appreciate having an opportunity to harass John a little bit. We talk almost every day anyway. So
really, that's
separated. We do that.
That's great. That's awesome. I just wanted to check real quick here to see if there's any comments. Kathy Ward says, great show. Thank you. Susan Quinn, love you guys. Wendy, Richardson, Petrus. Awesome book. So glad I got the hard copy back when I came out. Yeah, I got it too. And I also have it autographed. So I'm really special.
I appreciate that, Carrie. And who knows, maybe one day I'll sit down and start writing again. But
yeah,
for now, it's just been a great ride. I can't believe it's been 10 years. I can't believe it's been 5 years since we first chatted. But
yeah, and I'm celebrating 10 years of doing this year. 10 years.
Well, congratulations. That means that it's very important to the community. So
thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I hope so. I love what I do, and I love the people that come on and they watch, and it's just, you just feel a sense of accomplishment, and I've always been an advocate for Garden City. That's for sure.
It's a great place to grow up.
Yes, it is.
Great place to live. Yes, no doubt about it.
So, John, look, when you start that second book, you let me know, okay?
I will, and I'll let you know how the screenplay is coming along as we.
Yes. I thought maybe, Brad Pitt would be in there or something like that. Everybody picks Brad Pitt. I don't know why.
If you're going to dream big, right?
Yeah. Hey, how about Tom Cruise even? That wouldn't be bad.
All
All right, you guys take care. I really appreciate it. And like I said, come back anytime. Get the book, Someone Like Me. Phil Freeman, John Quinn. Thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Gary. All the best.
Have a great night. See ya. Wow, that was awesome. Very inspirational. I'm going to hold up the book again one more time here. It's Someone Like Me, an unlikely story of challenge and triumph over cerebral palsy. Someone Like Me by John W Quinn. And like he said, you can get that through Amazon. The audio would probably be the best. And also, don't forget the challenge coins too. Go to his website and check that out. All right, I want to move on here. Unfortunately, I missed up the beginning of this. I didn't hit the go live button, so I don't know how it's going to turn out in the beginning, but we got the interview, and that's for sure. I do want to mention the Mayor Walker's latest numbers and stuff. I just got this hot off the press. City Hall is now open from 9 to 5 Monday through Thursday and 8 to 4 on Fridays. The 21st District Court will remain closed. Maplewood Center and Ice Rink remain closed as well. City parks, city playgrounds, and ball fields are now open, so baseball is back. Restaurants and bars can open starting Monday, the 8th, and operate at 50% capacity, so that's good news. Outside dining is going to be available to restaurants by obtaining a temporary permit from the city and by following all regulations set by Wayne County Health Department. He urges you to please continue to use common sense and practice physical distancing, hand washing, and masks when dealing with the public. Road construction is still on the way, and he urges you to please drive safely and keep the construction workers safe. The Garden City Food Pantry is still in need of food donations, so please donate when and if you can. He really appreciates it. Here are the COVID numbers for Garden City through today. 151 residents have now tested positive, and we have had 13 deaths due to COVID as of today. The state of Michigan, there's 58,241 tested positive, 5,595 deaths so far in Michigan. So we're not out of the woods. I saw the numbers today, and we went 2 days without a case, and today I believe we had one. So things are getting better. The June 15th council meeting will be held in the council chambers. They're going to be back in there because now you can group in, I guess, up to 100 now instead of 10. So, but still wear them masks. It's exciting to see our small businesses opening back up. Please shop local and support them when you can. Be safe and use all precautions that he has discussed tonight. So that's from Randy Walker, the mayor of Garden City. And he will be our guest next week. Next week, the mayor will be here. And he'll have more to say, I'm sure. Remember, if you're interested in coming on the show as a guest, we'd love to have you. Maybe you know someone who might be interested. If so, it's very easy. You can contact us through our website at gccommunitychat.com. Send us your name, email address, and a brief message, and someone will get back to you usually within 24 hours. During this time, we can do the show remotely and safely, just like tonight. Maybe you own a business or belong to an organization. You'd like to share your information with us and the surrounding communities. If so, contact us today. We look forward to hearing from you. All right, just a quick reminder to continue our physical distancing. We like that much better than social distancing because we feel people still need to maintain that social contact, whether it's online, texting, or sending a card through the mail. Continue to wash your hands. It's very important. And by all means, wear your mask when out in public places. It's not that inconvenient. You'll probably be protecting yourself, but others as well. Don't touch your face. Check on your neighbors, especially our seniors, the most vulnerable. Remember, we're all in this together, and we'll all get through this together. And with that said, I think we're ready to call this a podcast. I want to thank everybody who's been watching in there. It was a great show tonight. John Quinn, I urge you, get that story, Someone Like Me. Very inspirational and unbelievable, really, what he did for 20 years in the Navy, keeping his cerebral palsy a secret. So with that said, I think we're ready to call this a podcast. Special thanks to our guest, Mr. John Quinn, and his best friend, Phil Freeman. What a special bond these two gentlemen have. I urge you once again to order the book, Someone Like Me. You will not regret reading it. And if and when you do, please let me know your thoughts and how you felt about the book. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, thanks to Dopper Tom, who wasn't here tonight, but I'm sure he's somewhere. Oh, there's Dopper Tom. Are you in there?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I just wanted to clear the air for John Quinn, and I was going to come in at the very end because I know that it was going to be a big show tonight.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to kind of clear the air and let him have his moment.
Well, hey,
but we can do a real quick weather update.
Yeah, let's do the weather. Go ahead.
I mean, it's another reason why I didn't come in either is because it's a pretty benign weather. There really isn't much going on. I mean, today, over the last few days as well, it's been so warm and so humid. And this is straight up Richard weather. I mean, he's probably loving all this crazy weather.
He loves it.
Me and Carrie, not so much.
Not so much. No.
We're not a big heat lover and a big humidity lover as well. We just don't like this kind of weather. And this is now really getting into the summer season now that we're in June. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, this kind of warm, humid weather is going to be continuing. As we get into the rest of tonight, it's definitely going to stay on the milder side and probably into the upper 60s. As we get into tomorrow, the majority of the day will be dry, but you can always get some on and off rain during the afternoon hours with these systems. And tomorrow is going to be another case with this. And you can probably see some moderate rain at times with the system moving through. But that's the only day that I really see rain potential as we get into the next into the foreseeable future. Is just tomorrow. So if you're really looking forward to a relief from the rain, we haven't really been seeing it. I mean, we see a little bit of rain, but unfortunately, a lot of that rain misses us. So this is going to be another potential. Hopefully, if you want some rain, tomorrow will be the day with temperatures near 90 degrees tomorrow. So it's definitely going to be a warm day out there. As we get into the weekend, it's definitely going to be a great weekend out there. Now that some of these restrictions are really starting to lift, I think it's going to be a good weekend to do a lot of outdoor stuff if you want, because the weather is going to cooperate. Temperatures are also not going to be as warm as well. So temperatures on Saturday will be near 80 and on Sunday into the mid 70s. So it's going to be a very mild week out.
I like it
out there. So if you have any outdoor activities you want to do, definitely the weekend to do it. And as we get into next week out there, temperatures are going to really start to warm up again as well, starting into the low 80s into early portion of next week, and then starting to really warm up into like the mid to upper 80s as we get into the mid portion of next week. So it's definitely going to start consistently staying on that warm and humid side out there. And the only rain chance I see is on tomorrow during the afternoon and evening hours, but that will be a real isolated case because you get that warm air and it really kind of stables the atmosphere aloft, and you can't really get rain. But we're going to try to get a little bit of rain because we definitely wanted some relief from that heat, and we'll try to get it for you. And some other news: the hurricane season is officially started.
Yeah,
but it's very busy perspective-wise if you think about it, because we're already on our third named storm of the season. Some of the storms really got going during the month of May, and there's one out there right now across the Yucatan and Peninsula. It's really affecting Mexico out there, and it will start to drift north and will probably make landfall into the United States as we get into next week. But the good news is it doesn't appear that, at this time at least, that this is really going to be an explosively developing system as it moves across the Gulf of Mexico and heads toward the United States. But nevertheless, it's going to be a rainmaker and a little bit of gusty winds all across the Gulf Coast, especially Louisiana and Mississippi and Texas. There will be a lot of impacts with rain and storms as that system moves in.
Wow.
Storminess has been really ongoing across the U.S. Parts of the Northeast has been pretty stormy, and parts of the central U.S. has been very warm, stormy as well. Unfortunately, we're not really seeing much of this rain from these systems. They're all missing us, relatively speaking. So, I mean, I know you people want water for their gardens and their grass because it's been a pretty busy season for that, because with nothing really else to do. But we're not really seeing it at this time. And the last little story I have is we finally launched Americans on American soil from the last time we spoke over the weekend.
Yes.
And over the last weekend, and it was a monumental event. And
that
it
was awesome.
One to see as well. The images during that launch were incredible to see inside when that was going on.
Yes.
And the launch itself, and it was just incredible. And it's a new space age out there.
Yep.
Those astronauts are on the International Space Station now. They're going to stay on there from the time they launched and to the time they got there for about 110 days.
Oh.
So they'll be up there for a couple of months out there.
Wow.
And then they're going to come back into that capsule that they came into, and it will splash down into the Atlantic when they come back. So it was such a phenomenal event because the rocket that they went up on actually came back to Earth.
Yeah.
Upright
on that ship.
Can you think about the amount of manpower and smarts and just technology that you have to get that done?
Oh,
it was
crazy.
Just incredible to watch all
that. It was amazing.
And if you missed that, don't you worry. There's going to be a whole bunch more.
Yeah.
Now that this is a success out there, so we'll be definitely keeping you updated on that because they got big plans. A couple of years they're going back to the moon and eventually Mars. So it's definitely going to be a sight to see out there. But if you want to keep tuned to all our local weather information, just go to my website, DopplerTomsWeather.com, and it will keep you updated on our warm and humid summer times out there. And we'll try to get you some rain as well, but it's definitely just going to stay consistently warm and humid now. So you're welcome, Richard.
Yeah, really. But, he's loving it.
That's about it out there.
Yeah, that launch was just amazing, and the pictures were so, high definition, and you didn't miss anything. You really didn't.
Something to watch.
Yeah, it was. It was crazy. Yeah, if anybody missed it, go on YouTube and watch it because it's amazing for sure. All right, thank you, sir. I'm glad you made it in there. All right. I also want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight on Facebook. And for those of you that have downloaded the audio and are listening, we really appreciate your support each and every week. Be sure to view this video and past videos at your convenience, especially if you tuned in late tonight, by going to our Facebook page at facebook.com/GCchat. Or you can go to our YouTube channel. I'm going to have it uploaded there shortly. Just search for GC Community Chat. We hope you'll check them out and feel free to share with your friends and click on the red subscribe button on our YouTube channel if you don't mind. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to stop by our website at gccommunitychat.com for more information. And you can also download the audio from tonight's show by going to iHeartRadio. Just search for GC Community Chat with Kerry Parton or TalkShoe.com. Let's see. Can't think of anything else. And as I've been doing every week when I sign off, we want to give a huge thank you to all the healthcare workers, first responders, police and fire, everyone on the front lines who serve and protect us every day. The numbers are getting better, but they're afraid there might be a second wave. So let's cross our fingers and hope there isn't. You are doing a remarkable job, the frontline workers. We can't thank you guys enough. Be safe, and we want you to know that you and your families are in our thoughts and prayers. And listen, when you see any of these heroes, please let them know how much you really appreciate them. All right. Remember, the success of a community depends on the community. So please support your local businesses. They need you now more than ever. And like I said, a lot of them are starting to open now. Get in there and get your restaurant fix. I can't believe, Tom, how I miss restaurant food.
Tell me about it. The takeout is just not the same.
It isn't.
It's just not the same getting it.
It isn't.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back and actually sitting down.
Sitting down, yeah, having coffee or whatever and shooting the breeze for a couple hours. I mean, we really enjoyed that. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Several are reopening, like I said, so make sure you support them. And if you see something, say something. Look out for one another out there. For all your weather information, be sure to head on over to DrTomsWeather.com. He's got a great user-friendly website over there. Tom, what's the hurricane season going to look like? What's your predictions? Is it going to be heavy this year?
Definitely going to be a busy season. Every outlook that I've seen is calling for an active, very active hurricane season. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be bad for you, for the United States.
Right.
There's just going to be a lot of systems into the Atlantic season. So, I mean, if all the hurricanes develop and just miss the United States, that's great news. Gotcha. If all the hurricanes develop and hit the United States, it's going to be an absolute disaster of a year. So, hopefully it will miss the United States, but it's just going to be a very active season. A very active season, in my opinion. It's definitely going to stay on the busy side. And that peak of the season will probably hit September and October. So that's when it really will start to get busy. So we'll keep you updated here.
Well, I don't know how much more we can take for 2020. Let's hope that those hurricanes don't hit us.
2020 is just one of those years.
I'm ready to just bypass 2020 and go into 2021 right now. It's crazy.
I think everyone's on that train.
Oh my gosh. It's unbelievable. Well, stay safe, my friend, and we'll see you next week for sure.
When's Mike coming back?
I don't know. We could stay 6 feet apart, I guess, but I don't know. It's just I
know that he's not the most technical savvy guy.
Yeah, he isn't. If he could just do remote, this is really fantastic the way it's set up right now. I really like it. But we'll get him back in here soon, that's for sure. I just don't want to have to do a show wearing our masks, that's for sure.
Oh, no.
That would be uncomfortable.
No fun.
Yeah.
Especially up there. It's a little warm.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to that cooler weekend. Boy, that sounds really nice. I think I'll do some power washing or something. All right, my friend. We will see you all back here live on Facebook next Thursday, June 11th at 8 p.m. Don't forget our Mayor Walker is going to be our guest. So until then, thanks for listening. Be well, stay safe, and good night, guys. Take care.